Morning, folks. Morning, folks. Morning, everybody. How are y'all doing today? Doesn't look like I got any audio. Any audio coming through for us today? Anything? Microphone. Check the mic. Any check? Any audio? Any audio? Any audio? Check the audio. Oh no, got no audio. Sadly. Make us good. Craziness. Oh, craziness. Wonder what could be the matter here this morning. Brody's levels are. What about music? Do we have music? How about did you hear about the guy who forgot which side of the world the sun got up on? It finally dawned on him. Morning, folks. This is Brody. I'm just checking the audio levels. Mixer is not working here this morning, so that's kind of. Hear music and you just fine. All right. Well, interesting. Let's just take a second to just arrive here with one another. It's the middle of the week. It's Wednesday, the hump day, steak and pajamas. We're just want to stay at home here today, but we're out in the world making our way, doing the best that we can to shine a little light on things, a little light on one another, and just be happy to be here today. It's your host, Brody, the morning show. We're going to do some magic stocks and magic talks. We got Gaming Bob is in the house. Benson, Michael Superbacker, Twiddler here this morning, and Johan Matuzzi coming from all over the world. It's awesome show here today because we are connecting you folks, the amazing fans of Magic the Gathering, people who love the game probably more than I do or as much as I do, connecting you folks from around the world. Yesterday was a pretty exciting show. We covered the deck list for the Legacy 10K that happened in New Jersey over the weekend, so that was nice to finally take a look at the deck list. Let's have a look at maybe warm up here this morning with a little cup of coffee. Take a little minute for ourselves, have a sip, because that's okay. Why don't we warm up a touch here this morning and just take a look at a couple of AI generated magic cards this morning? Look at this one, Torture of Guardians for a white and 1. Let's check this out. Instant speed. We can exile all creatures you don't control. Wow, for 2. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each opponent who drew 2 or more cards this turn. Wow. This card's a little bit overpowered. What do you think of this one, folks? Mother says, if you guys haven't had a chance yet to see my opening from last night's show, you gotta see the first 2 minutes after the countdown. Do we now? Is that a fact? I have instant regret for not checking out Twiddler's Place yesterday. Instant regret. The first 2 minutes, eh? From last night, 20 hours ago. All right, well, let's make sure we check it out. Let's make sure we check out the Twiddler's Place video. I was gonna I was gonna check out the stream last night. I got a little busy. We went out for supper with some friends. So a shout out to Dolan. Thanks for joining us. It was good supper. Really enjoyed that. Mac and cheese hamburger. So that was pretty cool. Picked that up. So we're hanging out with Benson, Johan Matuzzi, my man, Michael Superbacker, MTG Gaming Bob's in the house. Let's take a look. What's going on? What have you got your hands on here, Twiddler, in the first couple of minutes, eh? Twiddler wants us to check out the first couple of minutes. Probably, I don't know if we got any sound here.
Watching the football game at the same time.
Doesn't look as though. Okay, so I don't want to spoil it, but it looks like we got something happening. So if I'll leave a link in the comment section for anybody who wants to go and check out the rest of the video. I don't want to spoil it, but it looks like something I'll have to check out. Okay. Should we take a look at the wrong stream? All right. What do you guys think of this AI generated magic card? Torture of Guardians. Can we give this one a pass? It seems really powerful. I mean, it actually does work. Some of these cards don't actually work. Exile all creatures you don't control. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each opponent who drew 2 or more cards this turn. 2 mana for a white and 1. Can we give this card a pass? Let me know. It seems functionable. Too powerful. Torture of Guardians. To me, it seems too much. It does. It seems a little too much. Oh, Richie Dubs in the house. What do you think of this card, Richie? This Torture of Guardians. Can we give it a passing grade? Exile all creatures for a white and 1 that you don't control. Morning, Alan. How you doing? Thanks, Twiddler. Post that link there. Ah, yes. Post that link, my good man. Post it for everybody on a Wednesday. Middle of the week, we got Alan Cohoon in the house. It's pretty powerful for that cost, isn't that? We're looking at some AI generated magic cards here this morning. This one seems too powerful. Like it works. Like sometimes we get problems with the card just speaks gibberish. So this one actually, the writing on it, the wording on the card, it makes sense. It's just a little too cheap. Yeah, Twiddler says, well, wow. That's pretty powerful for that cost. It sure is. Benson 2 OP. Get rid of it before Watsy gets any ideas. Okay, let's get rid of. We got to give it a failing grade. I suspected it was too much. This card, I can't read the name, and I tried zooming in on it because I really like. I really did. Like we can't even get in to read it. It's like Asmo Kai Kaldikar with a middle name and a last name, right? And as if they had the short name of the family. This is a dinosaur, a 1/4 for 2 red. It seems okay. What do you think? Can we have a 1/4 dinosaur for 2 red that we can't pronounce? No flavor text on it. It's just blank. It's like this chesty guy. He's got the meat out. He's probably got a set of pipe wrenches and or you know, maybe a marteau or a spear or maybe he's got a yeah, he's got something going on. Maybe he's shaping a wheel or he's got some lightning in the back. I don't know. It's hard to say. Snake head on the guy, maybe kind of dino. It seems okay. Seems okay. 2 mana for a 1/4. I'd give this a pass. I really would. What do you think of this AI generated magic card business? Are these just going to get too good? Like so far, it's hard to get a pass, but like I think we can give it. Can't we? Somebody let me know. I'm pretty sure we can have 1/4 for 2 mana. Doesn't seem like too much. All right, let's give it a pass. Is my dinger working? Is the stock dinger working? I don't know how much I pay for this card, but it doesn't seem like it'd be. Oh, Storm! 2 likes. All right. 2 likes. Thanks, boy. Hit the brodification bell to get all the brodifications. This one's just called Storm. I guess someone renamed it. Too much to pronounce. Same guy. We'll call him Storm. Her Storm. Call it Storm. Call it Stormy Storm. Here's some more island work. Por favor, smash the like button. What do you think, Gaming Bob? Swollen Dino for the 1/4, right, Benson? My man Benson's in the house. We're gonna have a good show today. I'm excited. We got all the folks, the friends and fans of Magic the Gathering, shedding a little light out in the world. Thanks for dragging me along with you. Whether you're in you got Brody on the dash of the car, you got him in your backpack, you maybe back pocket, chest pocket, you just dragging him around with you for the morning. Got him in the car on the way to work. Whatever you're doing, this island, I gotta say, the last island we saw, the one with the houses on it, this was my favorite. This one's pretty nice too. Gotta give this a pass. Definitely. Is my dinger working? Got me on the kitchen counter. Ah. Here's a card. Hey, how about this? This looks like a card. Neaters. Bob says, I like it, but I like the other island better. Me too. 100%. Making a food token for that kitchen counter. Richie Dubs is making food. That's funny. Sinner Alliance? What's this guy? 8/8 dinosaur avatar. Advisor. No, it's not an avatar. Dinosaur advisor. He's not quite a Gishas level, but it's Mardu. Mardu, a black, a white, and 2 red and 2 for an 8/8. Taps for add 1 mana of any color. For 3, put a charge counter on Sinner Ellison's. Then create a ninja in the in the mana flup. I said flup. Put that card onto the battlefield. If you do, put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, create a token that's a copy of it. That will make you spill your coffee. This card, I like this card. This card's a mouthful. It kind of doesn't make any sense anymore. But let's read it again because there's a flup in there, a mana flup. If anybody has any idea what a ninja in the mana flup is, and I love the reminder, put that card onto the battlefield. If you do, put it onto the battlefield. I love it. Otherwise, create a token that's a copy of it. So you can get a mana flop token ninja or a token that's a copy of a mana flop. Neaters. Mm-hmm. Love it. What do we do? It's an 8/8 for 6. 8/8 for 6. And it taps for mana. I think it's okay. I mean, it's gotta be. What do you say, Bob? Let us know. We can't just go unchecked. Signer Elians. Serious card here. 8/8 for 6 mana. Dinosaur tribal. Taps for a mana of any color. Makes a ninja mana flip token that you get to put on the battlefield or make a copy of it. It seems okay. Seems fine. No issues here. I want to give it a pass. Somebody let me know if I can. All right. Signer the Alliance. I like the art. This dino's got a tie. He looks like he's got a lot of teeth. Anatomically correct dino. Handsome dino. That mana flips ninja token. We're giving okay, let's give it a pass. It really seems fine, right? What's a mana flop? Well, since you asked. Geez, since you asked, Bob, a mana flop is I don't know what a mana flop is. Somebody please tell me. It could be anything yet. I think R&D is still working on that. AI generated magic cards. That's part of the fun, right? There's some nonsense, some silly little happy little accidents in those cards. On this one here, I think we looked at it a couple of days ago. This one being Sue Aggersaven. I like this, Alan. Give it a pass if you can tell me how he got his tie on, right? With those tiny little hands. How about this one? I think we saw this one. Sue Aggersaven. Slivers you control have hexproof. Do we really need slivers to have hexproof? Is there anything that already does that? A red and one. Sue Agerson gets 2-0 until end of turn. Okay, that's not too bad. I think we can give this a pass. Doesn't seem too busted. A 3/1. Oh yeah, this is the Horf card. Plains Island Horf. Horf creature type. It's not even a sliver, no. Benson, it's not a sliver. It's a Horf. We might give it a I don't know. We're gonna fail it on Horfism. I love that it is a Plains Island Horf. What I don't know. Can we fail it for Horfing? Or can we give it a pass? One red and a 2 for a 3/1. If it was a sliver, it would be better, but it gives your slivers hexproof. Is there I can't I'm not a sliver player, and like I refuse to know. Is there a sliver that gives everything hexproof already? If there was. If there was not, this makes it better. Let's have a little sip of coffee. All right, let's do one more. Can we give it a pass? Why not? Maybe one day it'll horf it, get its horf. Yeah. Maybe this one day this sliver will meet somebody. It'll be its better horf. And then they can harfen to hold each other for all sliver eternity. Ooh, another plains card. I like these. Crystalline slivers close to hexproof. Toddler's back in the house. Any big events coming to you, folks? Like this. I got to give this card a pass. The lands are generally just fine, right? There's nothing wrong with this. I'll take it. Some of these would be even nice to proxy. Okay, one more. Did we Nimbus Cry Kival? Did we do this one already? I think we did. Morning, Tom Mitchell. Thanks for dragging us with you this morning. Brodys along for the ride. Wherever you're heading, do it well. Safe adventures and keep your head on a swivel out there. Watch out for one another. Smile and let's try and shine a little light out there in the world of Magic the Gathering. The fans who love the game as much as I do. We can start the show, Tom Mitchell. Let's just arrive here for a minute with each other and say thanks for checking out the stream and Hasbro Spock here this morning to do a little refresh. It's the 18th, it's Wednesday, and we're gonna be on just past the hour. It's 5:15, 7:15 Pacific start. Glad to be hanging out with you folks here today. Where have you got me going? Hasbro Stock. Martin Luther King Day this week, and then finish up with the Star City Games New Jersey tournament over the weekend. We had a little coverage on that. Got some cool deck lists. Checking out Hasbro stock. So we missed a trading day. I think Monday things were closed, but I could be wrong. Wrong about a lot of things lately. But that's okay. You like tracking the prices of Magic cards? Is it fun? We were talking slivers for a minute there. A couple of AI generated Magic cards, Tom. Just looking at some of the shenanigans on the Twitter pages. I'm talking slivers. I don't know about you, man. Richie Dubs. Yeah, we're talking. I was asking if there's a sliver that gives everything hexproof. We're talking a little bit of slivers, just reviewing some magic cards, and we're just going to talk a little bit of Hasbro stock. We're going to hit the stock desk. We're going to hit the stock desk and see if we got any more news articles for you folks today. And it looks like we got something new for you on the news articles. So that's going to be a little bit fun to check out. Cool. Let's take a look at the price of Hasbro stock.
Buy low, sell high, that's my motto. I may just quit my job at the power plant and become a full-time stock market guy.
Price of Knowledge. This is one by Ryan Cole over at the stock desk. I don't think we covered this one yet. We were looking elsewhere yesterday. Pretty interesting card. It says a review on Chalice of the Void. We're going to just have a little sip of coffee and take a look at this article here where we review a couple of different versions of Chalice of the Void throughout the years. So, the Price of Knowledge article series is going to be taking a look at the history of a single card, showcasing the factors that lead the card to its position today. So, without further delay, we present to you Price of Knowledge for Chalice of the Void. Pretty creative writing style over at the stock desk. I love it. They always have something cool for us. So let's bring up Chalice of the Void. We really should do it. We need a longer chart than the one they've got in front of us. Don't worry, Brody's got you covered. You like checking the prices of Magic cards? Is it fun to you, or just a big headache? You like taking a look at all these tables and stuff, watching numbers go up? Don't worry. Let me do it for you. I'm here in the mornings talking Magic talks and stocks. I got dual brains in the house. What's going on, Broham? I'm here lurking for support in the background, ready at work. People, once again, hit the like, please. Thank you. The Brodification bell. Frappe Le Bouton for all those en français. No, Martin Luther King Day. We don't have. Benson asks, is Martin Luther King Day a thing in Canada, by the way? No, he was a US hero, and yeah, we are in Canada. We do not celebrate it as a national holiday. I think most people know what it is and the significance of the day. But as far as national holidays, we do have lots of national holidays. Not that we don't take them, we have at least like one a month. And we're constantly adding more of them. So we'll see. Like different set of historical figures. Let's get on to this article. It's good point, good question. Michael Superbacker out in Boston. Did you get a chance to check out the new statue out in Boston? Herrick's quite a sight. But this card here in Price of Knowledge, we got Chalice of the Void. So a longer chart up here than the one they got. So we can look back and see right now the one they got has it showing at around $50. In the Mirrodin set in October in 2003, there was a heavy emphasis on artifacts, introduced equipment, and brought the new keywords of imprint, affinity, and entwine into the game. Tournaments at the time were plagued by wildly desperate power levels during play, with some players in sealed draft event receiving good but still lackluster cards in comparison to the others who would receive the powerful affinity cards with tons of other artifacts to make them viable, or the amazing equipment-oriented creatures with large quantities of equipment, or the singularly great cards like Trinisphere, Isochron Scepter, and the infamous Chalice of the Void. So, I guess it kind of speaks to saying people will get butthurt, I guess, in limited if they got the good stuff, the bombs, like the Trinisphere, the Isochron Scepter. This card's really good, even in limited or commander. Remembrance Day, Alan Cajon. Yeah, we have a Remembrance Day. Richie Dubs. Benson says, got to go to Canada this year. Go to the Jays game and check out a hockey game. There's also, if you go to Saskatchewan, and I want to get there, there is an Al Capone museum in Saskatchewan. So if you want to see a little piece of history, ever heard of Al Capone? He's I guess there's some underground tunnels and a exhibit there. Pretty interesting. There is some stuff to see. Just like this Isochron Scepter. As we're talking Chalice of the Void here, as gathered from posts circa 2003, such as this one, the internet was. Let's just put up the Chalice for you folks. Then I can read this article. As gathered from post circa 2003, such as this one, the internet was already buzzing about Chalice of the Void. Wizards had announced that they would be printing cards into Mirrodin that were more designed for Type 1 than for Standard, then called Type 2. So this is 2003, still had just the two formats, Type 1 and Type 2. So if you're new to Magic, this is a great kind of a look back with this card of Chalice of the Void. It's great because things were still under an older format then, like Type 1 and Type 2. So Chalice was obviously one of them. There was even conversation notably about being something so powerful it shouldn't have been printed. Really? At the time, Magic was only 10 years old. Chalice became one of the earliest examples of a phrase that's now mentioned too frequently of power creep. One of the first instances. Oh, I got to build myself another coffee. Players enjoyed the set, of course, with its new mechanics and powerful cards, making players rethink their average gameplay ideas. But players of Eternal formats were in love with the Chalice of the Void for its simple yet elegant ability. It can stop 1 and 2 drops, but its most unique ability is countering 0 drops by paying no mana into it. I.e., Mox Jet, nope. Ornithopter, nope. Or 2 free blockers, not a Black Lotus, no, not gonna happen. Chalice of the Void was blocking players out of their most expensive and at the time reliable Eternal format cards, and it was driving fans wild. So a reprint or a print of this card that can just come down and counter 0 drops was a huge buster in the format, even if it was seeing like price tag fetching $50 or what do we go back to? Let's got to go look back. What was it selling for? $8. Whoa, how far back can we go? This one shows 2011. So Chalice wasn't even a lot of money back then. So for the accessibility to have a card that'll lock out cards that cost a whole boatload more than them is a pretty awesome format warping sort of thing. Players enjoyed the set, of course, with this new mechanic and powerful cards making players rethink their average gameplay ideas. But players of Eternal formats were in love with Chalice for its simple and elegant ability. At the same time, Standard was the king. Saw great play there in Standard. With players complaining of broken games and imbalanced gameplay, Chalice wasn't the sole target of the claim. It was one of many. The main focus of the complaint was affinity mechanic. So Chalice was simply a nuisance card, but it maintained the modest price of around $5 due to its ability to stifle cards in Type 1 gameplay. Then came World Wake in 2010. Chalice had seen some rises and falls in its middling price in between the years. And World Wake's inclusion of low to the ground creatures and spells to bump groundswell and overflowing Chalice, generating tokens from Griffin's Boon, was enough to make the modern players cry into frustration, while the more speculative investors cried in happiness. Because suddenly every player wanted a Chalice. It was a quick and easy answer to any of those pesky low cost spells that were really coming out strong in the metagame. And those investors that had cards everybody wanted to buy into, especially in Legacy. In that time, same time of year, there were hundreds of decks using Chalice, including in 2016, the Legacy Cup, where a bunch of these famous players all played with copies of it in their main board. So all the heavy hitters who were playing competitively in 2016 in Swiss Legacy were playing Chalice. So of course everybody wanted to play it. Players and speculators saw the card's value and the acknowledgement showed in its rising price. Mr. DJ Longhair is in the house. So happy to have you with us this morning, Mr. DJ, dragging us along with you for the day. We're talking a little Chalice of the Void. This one is a pretty interesting article. I do like it. The Chalice of the Void, this guy here looks like the Kaladesh invention. Chalice has received only a few reprints. If you've seen the Masterpiece version, uh We need one now. It maintained a respectable price tag in spite of its restriction in vintage in 2015. Modern players today see it as a go-to sideboard card. You can't go 2 whole games without someone chalicing at one of the two, and it's nerve-wracking. It's true. It's true. These are the cards we dream about pulling from a pack, and the ones we showcase either through specialty desktop displays or by dropping it onto the battlefield in a game of Commander and Modern. Cards like Chalice will always hold a place in our hearts and in our deck, so we can celebrate its kind of in this new series. Until next time, remember, keep your hand concealed, never tap down your creatures against infect, and always remove your proxies before major tournament events. You don't want to be that guy. Ryan Cole, friggin' high five to this guy. I love this writing style. Ryan's from Canton, Ohio. Appreciate you bringing this article to us here on the morning show. Thanks, Ryan. Enjoying a little Magic Stocks and definitely a couple of Magic Talks with you folks here this morning. We were looking at the price of Hasbro stock. It's down a couple of points this morning, just about a percentage point. Still stringing along around $63. Let's have a look here. What else? What do we want to do, Alan Cohn? Oh, who else we got here? Mr. DJ Longhair's in the house. Glad to hear your. Let's catch up on the chat here. Benson says, speaking of spoilers, supposedly a new card type is around. It's listed in the new Atraxa. Really? Mr. DJ Long here battling along. What list do we want to hit today, Mr. Tom Mitchell? Hitting the stock desk.
Buy low, sell high, that's my motto. I may just quit my job at the power plant and become a full-time stock market guy.
Let's hit the movers and the shakers list here this morning. We did Pauper yesterday. I like Pauper. I had a lot of fun with the Pauper list. What do you guys want to see here today? We got choices. Tom Mitchell, steer this ship. You never steer us wrong. Let's need a little direction from you if you're listening. Yesterday we did Pauper. Where do you want to go here today? We had some interesting stuff on the Pauper list. Yep, the Oublie. Prismatic Shards, the Petal, yes. The Beetleback Chief, Pyroblast, yes. Sunscape, Familiar, Slippery Boggle. Slippery Boggle's new to the list here on the Pauper side. Great Furnace, I think all those artifact lands are good. Shield Sphere, Galvanic Blast, a card I've lost too. Shield Sphere is new on this Pauper list here too. Slippery Boggle. I think I heard the Moxman. Shout out to the MTG Moxman if you're out there in the house. I heard on his channel he said like February 3rd or something like that, or maybe late January. We're gonna have Wizards earnings, so maybe we'll have a update on the stock price in the fourth quarter of last year. As we continue into 2023 and pummeling the Dungeons and Dragons players, you poor Dungeons and Dragons players. Yeah, I hate to say this, but like when the truck backs over you, that is Wizards of the Coast, don't expect them to like stop and get out. Sometimes they're just going to put it in gear and drive forward and give you another thump. Feb 6th. Thanks, Alan. It is February 6th. I heard it over there. Didn't write it down though. It's in the vault now. Thanks, Alan. Let's check it out. Where do we go now? Do the legacy side? Why don't we check out legacy? We want to check out the legacy list? Legacy list. We checked out Pauper yesterday. From Pauper to Prince. Legacy seems hot right now. Paper play. And I like following the paper play and the folks that are over on the Twitter pages like Roland Chang and a few of the other competitive players who chasing tournaments. It's awesome to see what's shifting in the metagame. Delver making a comeback, which is cool. I couldn't believe it. Against white and against initiative, white initiative. I guess initiative. You could just call it initiative. Um, Give me a TLDR. I don't know what a TLDR is, but I like following that stuff because as the meta game changes, certain cards seem more popular. The return, and this is the thing that nobody's talking about. We're going to talk about it here for just a second. With all the punishment that we've suffered, too long didn't read. Give me a too long didn't read what Watsy did to D&D. Ah, yeah, tried to change the rules of the online game licensing so that to a group who is rule centric and have lawyers. Yeah, so it's they tried to change the rules to the online game licensing. I guess that affects how intellectual property and game development, goes out to people and who pays money for that. So yeah, people yeah, like we nerds, man, we read rules, read cards, and kind of understand how things work. So yeah, like it didn't go well. People just canceled their memberships and their subscriptions. It would be like I guess like I'm not a D&D guy, but I guess it'd be canceling your Wizards account or like your subscription account or your a lot of people canceling their subscriptions like en mass exodus of the game. So there's like a panic. So that's like the second punch. So now we're like into January 2023, and they're like they're they're crippling their other brand, right? So like everybody who thinks the bottom in is in, we're not. The bottom's not in. They're still doing damage until the damage stops. Like until the damage stops and starts like getting better. The beatings will continue until morale improves. That's a fact. Uh yes, want to make money off people creating content for D&D. So if you're I guess in a D&D world, the gamers imagine and wonder and use their imaginations to create unique gameplay experiences that players would argue that they created them, right? So yeah, it's an interesting concept. More money. Wizards need more money. Let's check out the legacy list. I don't know why this Mishra's Workshop. Why is this? This isn't legal in Legacy. Yeah, Workshop's legal in Legacy. Really? Oh, Mishra's Workshop. Yeah, right. Okay, Mishra's Workshop. Yeah, all right. Well, I had to do a double take here. Okay, so like beware, beware, buyer beware, right here. Okay, this is like Mishra's Workshop on the legacy list here this morning. All right, so let's just do a double take here. Check out the old internet, right? Like the internet is broken here this morning. Here it says Mishra's Workshop. We're on the legacy list. Like ipso facto. Let's check this out. Okay, Goldfish. This is shout out to the let's just check this out. Legacy, Mishra's Workshop. And I'm like, Am I a noob because I see Mishra's Workshop at the top of the legacy list here this morning, up 3% at $35.99, and I'm like, but that card's not legal in legacy. So I'm like, let's check it. So we click on it, and we go here, and then like I start looking, and it's like, okay, yeah, no, it's not legal in legacy, right? But yeah, right here, legacy legal. These guys say it's legal in legacy. I am just speechless. So then Brody's like second guessing himself because I'm like, wow, like why aren't I playing this in Legacy? Like it's so good. But I'm like, no, it can't be. It can't be. So I go over here, I take a look on the gather. It's not legal in Legacy. It's banned in Legacy. Of course it is. So I don't know what's going on here this morning with this card and why it's on the Legacy list. It's definitely a vintage card. These guys, somebody's got to maybe toggle this the switch. Toggle the switch. I laugh at the fact that Mishra's Workshop is in Commander. It's great in Commander. You can run it with the Liberator. Urza's Battlethopter. You're like turn 0 or turn 1 Battlethopter, I guess, on your end step, Battlethopter. Why not? You have a near mint workshop. Very nice. Very nice. You only need one in Commander. That's kind of the cool thing. But either way, like just because they like this card is legal in Commander for sure. It's $3,599. It's expensive. It is. And this is the other thing I wanted to mention about the workshop, and this is uh has to do with the legacy event that happened this weekend and the vintage event that happened just a couple of days ago. So if you want to track the prices of Magic cards, let's go check the gameplay. This is the third part because we've never talked gameplay, and I've never been to this MTG Talk 8. I've never been to this MTG Top 8 site with you folks just yet. I mean, we're easing into things, but now we're gonna start tying it all together, right? I also learned that okay, there's a new Jace spoiler out. Jace has been completed, right? Have you seen the card? I don't know. So let's tie it all together. Let's look at the metagame now, all right? Standard, vintage, legacy. Let's look at the metagame, Hasbro stock, the movers and the shakers. We'll tie it all together and we'll see if we see any delineations or connections or lines or format driving, price changing turns of events that happen. And then we can check social media to see what the reaction to players is in certain cards. After somebody wins a big tournament using a certain type of archetype, it tends to do interesting things. This was one that I really wanted to take a look at. Is over the course of the Eterna weekend. This was the one that happened like right after MTG 30 because everybody that was at MTG 30 was like, "Are you going to MTG Vintage Eternal Weekend?" And Bazaar Baghdad was the card that was. I saw this deck, Bazaar deck at Magic 30, just breaking backs. It's so good. So you got these two lands. You got the Bazaar Baghdad, and you've got this It's $29.99, and then you've got the Mishra's Workshop, right there, and depending on which deck is like edging out in gameplay, one will outpace the other. But I was not surprised to see the Bazaar of Baghdad take first place because I played against it and it's like just so darn good when you're like it says tap to take two cards. So this is how it's crazy. Tap to take two cards from your library, after which you must immediately discard three from your hand. And then you're playing like these root wallas, which are ones that if you discard them, you can play them for zero. Okay, so a bunch of creatures and these other ones that can play it for zero, as well as Hollow Wan, who gets cheaper every card you discard, so you're playing him for just about zero. So what is more mana efficient? Like if you were gonna tap this for any amount of mana, so let's say tap it to draw 2 cards and cast 3 creatures, or discard 3 creatures and then like go root walla, hollow one. So it's like draw 2, cast 2/1/1s and a 4/4, or this one that just says straight up make 3 mana and then start playing your mud rocks, like your grim monoliths, your mana rocks that get you to paradoxical outcome, to get you to coveted jewel, to get you to cyber dive awakener or phyrexian metamorph, or any of the cards that we're seeing in like aggro shops or paradox. So which is better, right? Beat your opponent with a lizard and golem. Yeah. So that's sort of what can drive the leading or trailing of these 2 cards. Now, when you see Bazaar of Baghdad win a major event like this, it's probably a good indication that like maybe paradoxical. This deck is just so fun though. Like 29 versions of it. So it's just like something. And then if you see like, I know we're talking legacy and this card kind of snuck in there, but it showed up there and now we have to discuss it. So interesting card, how much value this card has. But when you put it in comparison to the Bazaar of Baghdad, it's really hard to see exactly like how good this card is, and it's hard to make an argument that it's worse or better than Bazaar of Baghdad. Really hard. But the price definitely reflects it. So like a bump up in price here, about 20 and a half. And this card's just like gonna see action until something is like better than Bazaar, right? So if like, let's see, let's go on. We digress. Let's get into some real actual like legacy cards, like this card. Maybe a commander card too. Like I don't know why the shop is in there. It's not legacy playable, but this card is Brain Geyser, the original Draw X, $2.99 for the unlimited version. Reserve list card. We like it. This one's played in old school, and I'll tell you what. If you don't believe me, here's another element of the. Here's another element we're going to tie together for you folks when we talk top 8. This is what top 8 can't do for you. And I'll show you why. So if you ever want to go to top 8 and you want to kind of see, like I'm looking at, do you like tracking the prices of Magic cards? Is it like, does this, is this fun to you? Like I do it every day. I really do. Like if it's too much or there's too many pieces here to pull it all together, let me do it for you. I'm here in the morning show with you folks with some Magic talks and some awesome Magic stocks, doing some gameplay and telling you how to beat your opponent with a lizard and a golem. But this is, so these are the tools that you have available right on the internet, but they're limited. Like just like we find out we want to call a workshop a legacy card, there's some bad information out there, so you got to kind of weed your way through it, and that's what I'm here for, to help you folks make a little bit more sense of this all. So making good purchases and putting the most fun into your Magic Gathering collection, because your collection is more fun if it's growing in value. If it's shrinking in value, it's like it's not as fun. Like let's shuffle that fun into the collection, because we want to have access to awesome cards. So this is limited because it doesn't mention old school. It's not here. Standard, Pioneer, Modern, Legacy, Historic, Explorer, other. Is it in the other tab? Limited, Dual Commander, CEDH. And I'll tell you, CEDH is the rage right now. That's what's trendy. CEDH 1v1, because people are like, screw standard and limited play. There's a big body of people who are saying that. So this doesn't even have old school in here. So when you go to, and I'll tell you, it's a format, you got to look for it. It's underground. It's a niche group of players, great group of subset of players that have a tight knit community and like to play cards like this. Old school cards that are 93, 94. So you're not going to see any reference to old school over the Goldfish site or over the vintage site. You might no, but not on their price tracking. So, um, old school's a format that as new players come in, they want to gobble up certain staples, and the black bordered versions of the card are obviously more desirable, then fetch a different price. Brain Geyser is one of them. This is original win condition from actually one of the most popular decks piloted by Brian Wiseman. If you know who that is, Brian Wiseman is uh, is a pro player who is pioneered the old school format through and through, and this is a win condition. It can also help you draw you cards and draw you out of a game, but this brain geysering your opponent early in Magic was definitely a thing. Uh, Pay 2 and X, target player draws X cards. We'll see it here. There's obviously Stroke of Genius, which is like, I think Stroke of Genius is, I think it's instant speed, so it's arguably way better. Yeah, so the Stroke of Genius is something we have access to nowadays. It's $2.76. So if you're new to Magic and you want to draw X cards, or you want to really like draw your opponent out, or you want to hit him with a something to dump mana in and just do crazy stuff. The Stroke of Genius is arguably better because you can cast it at instant speed. It's only $2. But like, if you're going back to a format that's limited, like old school, or even for collectability, the Brain Geyser is kind of the card that did it first. It really is. It's usually seen about $20 in revised. This is the unlimited version. We can take a look at the revised copy. It's a little bit cheaper. The revised copy here, it's $22 for the revised copy. It's a little bit cheaper. So if you want to get yourself a copy of the revised edition, just to have a copy and have access to old school, like, I would suggest picking yourself one up for $22. This thing's not going to fall even much more farther than this. It's funny, like, how low can the Brain Geyser go? It can't go too much lower. It's like a $20 card. It's gonna, like, you could pick it up right now. It's super cheap. A revised copy. It's like bottoming out in price. I can't see this like spiking a lot lower, but like prime pickings right now. I'll tell you now and for the next 6 months. This is a card I wouldn't hesitate picking up now, just because it's not super risky. You can pick it up for $22. Okay. If you ever want to play old school, you want to have a copy of this is the time to do it. It's $22. Try and buy list some of your, like, some of the $60 cards that come out of packs that are going around that you might want to get rid of before they rotate. Like, you can always trade into a copy. Have one of these in your pocket. Brain Geyser, cool card, like it. It's on the movers and the shakers list today here with Brody, and we're talking little Magic stocks. You know we're doing it.
Buy low, sell high, that's my motto. I may just quit my job at the power plant and become a full-time stock market guy.
Yeah, Bob says Stroke of Genius used to be expensive. Like, let's check it out. It was a win condition, right? Stroke of Genius, good card. If you don't want to spend $20, get a Stroke of Genius. What is Canadian Highlander? Okay. So as a Canadian, I'm proud to. Brody plays a little bit of Canadian Highlander, but the guy to talk to about that, who got me into Canadian Highlander, Dusty Cully. So my man, Dusty Cully, he is the guy who got me into Canadian Highlander first. Now, Canadian Highlander is a singleton format. Like when people say CEDH, Canadian, like competitive EDH 1v1, Canadian Highlander is 1v1. It's 100 cards. It's it's really cool. It's 100 cards, it's 1v1, and the cards are pointed. There's points value for the power level of cards. You get 10 points. Certain cards have points associated to them, so you can play certain pieces of power. You have access to all the cards so long as you don't go over your point value. So let's go Canadian Highlander. Hey, there can be only one, eh? That's the name of the event. They play this at the Mox Boarding House in Seattle. So our folks in Seattle, long time ago during Urza's block, right? So that's some of the rule play. You can play things like that you can't play in Commander. I believe because there's using points, right? So do. Let me see if I can find some pointed cards in here that you might recognize. Singleton format. Here's a deck list. Jund Tainted Lands, Blue Moon, and there isn't. And there isn't like a commander. It's just 100 card singleton. You don't have a commander. Um, it's like commander without a commander, 1v1, and it's singleton and it's pointed. Got it? I love it. It's awesome. You can play cards that you can't play in Commander because they're banned in Commander, but this gives you access to older cards simply because they use the point system. Let me see if I can find something. Awesome question. I love this. Okay, so the points list and the ban list of Canadian Highlander. So let's go Canadian Highlander official site. So Canadian Highlander has a points list and a ban list. So each deck must contain 100 cards and contain no more than one of any given card. The exceptions to this rule are basic lands, cards, and explicitly state otherwise. Each deck may have no more than maximum 10 points. Changes effective August 9th, 2021. So Ancestral Recall is 7 points. You can play it, but it's 7 points. Okay. Balance, you can play. It's 1 point. Black Lotus, you can play it. You want to play Black Lotus? No problem. Canadian Highlander is the place for you. It's 7 points. I'll put a link in the description below. It's 1v1. There's no commander. It's 100 cards. It's singleton format. You can play the power, natural order, and cards like Protein Hulk, any of the stuff, Tolarian Academy, the stuff you wish you could play in Commander, Canadian Highlander, you can play it. Oh, so glad. I'm so glad you asked. Oh, my goodness. Such a cool format. Dude, now, pro tip. The first time I ever tried it, I was like, cool. And the best thing I could do was just grab a commander deck, go through it and check it for points and remove the commander. And I was like, there we go. I'm playing Canadian Highlander. And it's like, that's not exactly true, but it's very close. Just make sure you don't have more than 10 points. Nev's disc. Oh, I love the Nev's disc. Nev Mineral's disc. Disking our way to victory. The Never Neural's disc in Legacy is also a commander staple. Merchant Scroll is normally banned. I don't know. Merchant Scroll? Where do you see that? Merchant Scroll? Oh no, Merchant Scroll just has points. This is just all the cards that are worth points. So like Gifts Ungiven, these aren't cards that I mean some of them are banned in Commander, sure. But some of them need points associated with them. You know, like some cards are so good they get 1 point. Mana Crypt or Mana Drain. You want to play a Mana Drain? It's 1 point. So you get 10 points in your deck. And this just sort of makes decks compete based on power level and just like some little different parameters. 284. I don't think Merchant Scroll is banned. No. No, sir. Benson. No, Benson. It's not banned. You can play it. Get yourself a Merchant Scroll. This card's horrifying. The first time I ever seen it, I was grossed out. It's like a disc and it's got tentacles coming out of Buddy's hand. It's an interesting card. Good morning. Thanks for bringing us with you here today. Good morning. Like this card, it's just goes with the new Neverroll commander. Where are we playing it? Deck's using it. I wonder if they made a Nevin Earls disc. There's got to be. Larry Nevin deck, Kozlik, the Great Distortion. That's where this one's played. All Commanders cards. It's funny. It's hard. Like, these columns don't make sense anymore. With the printings of so many cards, none of these cards, none of these cards seem to fit into their associated slot. Like, this 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 website is almost like semi obsolete because we look in legacy and not legacy cards show up, and then the cards that are in legacy in the list, the cards that are showing up in gaining more are are ranked by commander because they're in there because they're commander cards, not because they're legacy cards. So like, why don't they have a button here that says commander? I don't know. Cockatrice. Who's doing what with a cockatrice? $50 for unlimited cockatrice. The card that says, whenever cockatrice blocks or becomes blocked by a non-wall creature, destroy that creature at end of combat. A 2/4 flying. This was like the best blocker you could get, right? You're like, oh, you know, if your opponent's got like this crazy 9/9 Colossus or yeah, Nevin Earl's disc got utility everywhere. It's like the Swiss Army knife of Magic. You just bring one wherever you go. Cockatrice, $50 for the unlimited version. I don't know. Like, decks using it, probably. Yeah, no. Margalt, the Elves Dragon. There's a commander deck running Cockatrice. You used to play it with Lure. You know, something that would make all creatures block it. Maybe this is a Rampage deck. He's got Rampage 4/6. Is this a lure deck? Did somebody make a lure deck? Oh, how cute. Let's have a look here. Spells: Faithless Looting, Giant Growth, Mutagenic Growth, Nature's Claim, Pyroblast, Fog, Giant Growth, Looting, Crash Through. Creatures control Grain Trample until end of turn. Faithless Looting, Fog. Fog, oh, it's gotta be in there. Rugged Highlands. Macetail, Histrodon, Ulamog's Crusher. It's a rampagey deck by Krusty Cantaloupe. Surprise! Marhalt Common Surprise. $85. This deck actually looks like a hell of a lot of fun. It includes this Marhalt. I got a Chronicles version of it here. Krusty Cantaloupe. I guess you could, that's where you want to put the cockatrice, right? Huh. All right. I'll bite. Interesting card. Has been around for a long time. Kind of a crazy looking chickeny, snaky, bird flying creature. Cockatrice has a lot of lore to it. They're a mystical creature that like would turn their enemies to stone, sort of like a Medusa, as far as I know. So like the cockatrice, you don't want to f with that. You touch it, you get turned. You look at it, you touch it, you get turned to stone. That's why it says all the creatures that it blocked that it blocks or becomes blocked by get destroyed. That's 2/4. Yikes. Volcanic Island. Ooh, more dual lands. We might as well just say all the dual lands. Hey, how long are we going to be waiting for dual lands to trickle down in price? I'd say give it 3 to 6 months, man. Like, I don't care what anyone's saying about hot lists of cards selling and you know, oh, these are the top sales. I want to see the sales compared to last year the same time or the year before. I'm suspicious that sales have slowed down in comparative to last year and like should be slowing down. I would wait another 3 to 6 months because like we can feel the damage being done. Like until the D&D players are like, yeah, we got this settled out and like everything smooths out and like it's gonna, yeah, we got to see some fourth quarter earnings and even some first quarter 2023 earnings before I'm convinced the bottom is in. And then we're going to see maybe some of these dual lands just go on sale at the gaming stores because they're going to have to pay rent, right? Super high end sale. We'll pick these up on discount. Look at these unlimited version and revised version, the volcanics here. If you're in the market for some dual lands, I'll tell you what, if you're new to Magic and dual lands are your thing, Here's the tip of the day, and I know there's 6 of you watching, and there was 10 of you, but for the 6 of you watching, here's the theory on dual lands. They start like this. It's like almost like the Monopoly board. The plateau and the cheaper ones are like, well, that one's not cheaper. What's the cheapest one? The cheaper ones are like the cheaper properties on the Monopoly board. They're game pieces, right? Treat them like game pieces. The cheaper ones are like the cheaper properties on the Monopoly board, like the Connecticut's and like the blue ones, the light blue ones. Still decent. You can put hotels on them. But like if you want to like trade in your hotels, or sometimes you want to like trade like properties in the game, you can do that. And you're like, okay, I got 4 of these plateaus. It's 329 bucks. So, okay, let's see here. 329. So let's get our calculator out, right? Let's get it out of there. So we want 329, 329. And then we got the Underground Sea. Same version, mind you. Same version, mind you. All right. So this is how I kind of compare them. You got the Underground Sea, and you got the plateau at 329. So 4 plateaus to an Underground Sea, roughly. Like we got some price divergence happening here, but this is how I sorted myself. This is how I compare it. It's like usually a 4-to-1. Normally a 4-to-1. Like that would tell me that this Underground Sea is coming down in price, or holy smokes, is plateau expensive right now. This card's expensive. The like, look at the 2 charts, right? A way stronger chart. The plateau is outperforming this Underground Sea. Like over the long haul, this one's 1850, right? So if you can't get yourself an Underground Sea, like get yourself a plateau, because it's good inventory, and if you can trade into it, usually they're a quarter of the price of an Underground Sea. And then like once you get to 4, you're like, okay, now I can start trading into the blue lands, right? So that's how I approach it for picking up dual lands, based on the scalability of the cheaper ones versus the more expensive ones. It's just another way to look at it, right? So we have Volcanic Island showing up on the list here today. I'd say as soon as I look at some of these, like the expensive ones, I look at Plateau. I go straight to Plateau. I'm like, what's the cheapest one? Okay. Is it 4 times the price? And if it isn't, I know that card's on sale, or the plateau is too much. Like 350 for plateau, I would try and pick it up for 200 and change. Reverse damage. Reversing damage. This card, the first time I ever had it played on me, I was like, who is this beautiful woman face card that's just like got a lightning bolt beaming in the back of her head and sitting there across? Like, this is when you didn't know what all the cards did. Like, I'm serious. And then you had a friend who had like the Magic encyclopedia, right? And you're like, what? What have you got? And you're like, I don't even know what all the cards do. Like, I got the price guide, right? Price guide was awesome. Get these Inquest price guides, you can like see what all the cards names are, but like as far as what all the cards do, you can't know from here. You can get highlights and a lot of things, but like I don't think that reverse damage is ever going to see too much art coverage in a price guide. So like you end up going through something like this over at a buddy's house, because this is all pre-internet, right? There's no internet at this point. This is all just paper fun. So like you go through something like that and you're like, well, there's a lot of goodies in here. So like the first time I saw this card, it was played against me. You're like probably throwing a huge lightning bolt at my buddy Brian, and then he's like, "Oh no, no, no!" And I'm like, "What happens?" And he's like, "Just read it. All damage you've taken this turn from a source instead is added to your life total instead of subtracted to it." Like a Children of Corliss instant reverse the damage kind of card. Really cool. It's sort of a gotcha card. Oh, it's typical of white in color for that period of game development. Played in Elsha the Infinite, Ruban the Ruhan the Fomoing, and Karlov the Ghost Council. Neaters. All right, these Michael Superbacker, right? Thunder and Spirit. Okay, so here's another reason why we can't understand this card is like it's so ambiguous. This makes no sense. We're in the legacy list. We've got Thunder Spirit climbing up the charts. It's $172. Why on earth is it? Like I don't this doesn't make any sense. The world doesn't make any sense. It's a wild and crazy and confusing place. Oh, shine a little light on me, folks. Okay, why is this in here? I just it's a silly card. Reserve list. It's a $172 2 white and 1 Thunder Spirit Elemental Flying First Strike. 2/2 Flying First Strike. Maybe it's the flavor text. Hey, maybe. Let's read it. It was full of fire and smoke and light, and it drove between us and the friends like the thousands of thunderstorms with lightning. Richard Adams, Watership Down. This card is expensive. It's from Legends. Okay, it's old. It's reserve list. What? Why? Why is it reserve list? Like for a 2 okay, what? 2/2 flying first strike? It has to be a mistake. This card is like there's nothing good about it. You know why this card's worth money? I'll just give you my fumbling, humbling opinion. And it's been going up in price. The Thundery Spirit. Oh, somebody must be able to tell us over here, right? Must be over to tell us. Okay, it's gone up in price sharply since January 2018. It has. Ah, 7 copies available for 116 bucks. Graded copies probably expensive. Brain, what's a graded copy? You got a graded copy of the Thunder Spirit? I mean, this is a collectible card. It's worth getting one, and it's because it's playable. It's playable. What? Brody, you're crazy. Get out of here. Shut the door. Sit down. I got to talk to you. Get your head right. Brody, this is not playable. Where? Where are you playing this? I don't know. Let's look over at the deck list, like Thunder Spirit. Let's search for it. Search. Let's see who's playing it. Why is this card good? Like, let's go Thunder. Thunder Spirit. Let's go any deck, any player, any format ever in competitive playing. No decks found. It's not played anywhere. Oh my god, right? Right? No. Okay, Brody's have I'm taking the piss here. I'm putting you on. I am just completely bamboozling you. It's played in old school, even though like it says this is how silly this is. So there's like an entire format but it's devoted to cards like this that isn't mentioned anywhere on this website. It's not mentioned anywhere on MTG Top 8. It's not mentioned anywhere on any of the major gaming sites that are selling, new cards. It's not mentioned anywhere. This thing is awesome in old school. It's like literally it fills a really rare slot. The only thing other than it's a 2/2 that flies and has first strike. Like name something. Name something. Anything. You can't do it. There's like very few cards that are flying first strikers in old school. Anything printed in 94 and older. It's really hard to fill the flying spot, especially with a first striker. You've got first strikers on the ground, white knight, black light, order of the whatever, shield, and you've got a few first strikers, but flying. Okay, you've got Azura Drake. It's a 2/4. It's in from the dark. You've got Sarah Angel doesn't first strike. You've got like 4/4s, 5/5 Mahamodi Dijin, Shivan Dragon. you name it. There's all the big flyers. Sanger Vampire is none of them have first strike. So it's a 2/2 flying first striker, and it's also a spirit. So it's spirit. I mean, not that if somebody was going to play commander spirits, you could get a 2/2 flying first striker, but it's an extra ability on the card. You throw a giant growth on this, it's chopping down Sarah Angel, Shivan Dragon. If you have any other way to give it one more, it strikes first and it kills. So it's really good in old school. It fills a slot that no other card can do without using two cards. That's what I'm trying to say. You can give something first strike, or you can give something first strike flying, but it has to have two cards. That's why Thunder Spirit is so good. And there's no mention of it anywhere except here, folks, right here on the channel. It's the only place you're going to get it. So when the world doesn't make sense and you look at these charts and you're like, geez, Thunder Spirit, oh, cool, that seems fine. Why? I don't know. Stupid card. 2/2 flying first strike. Geez, I got better options. That's why. It's the format nobody's talking about that is pushing this card up on the list. Northern Paladin. And if there's stuff I'm missing, let me know, because I always want to know, like, what's dry. Why did this card get onto the list? Like cockatrice. Is it a buyout? Is it something we're sleeping on? Is it an old school card that I missed? No, I have no idea on that one. But this one I do. YouTuber Commander Void does content about price manipulation. Sellers sell cards themselves for higher than market prices. That's wash trading. That's right. I people were asking me the other day, like, Mindbreak Trap, that's a card, right? People want to sell it. Murray was like, I got Mindbreak Trap. Can I list it on eBay? What can I do with it? Like, man, you're better to buy list it and try and get 30% on top because it's a hot card. If you got foils, you're making money. But like, eBay's tough, especially because like people will do just that. They'll buy the card from themselves just to pump the card up. Price manipulation. So, there's all kinds of dastardly deeds out there, but let's try and wade through that. The fog here this morning. Stick together. Stick together. Down in front. Up 5. Let's go. $54.99 for this unlimited version of the Northern Paladin. It's a Paladin. It's pro black. It should be pro black. I think it should. It says destroy target black permanent for 2 and a tap. It's pro black. He's got a bean shaped head, kind of looking grumpy there. I don't know where his helmet is. This guy should have a helmet on. He's on the job. Unless he's, I just think this guy looks underprepared for work. That's just me. I always looked at this card like, where's his hat? I don't know. It's a great card. The art is really cool. Misty background with the sunset or sunrise. It's really a great card. There's a counterpart to this in Mirage with the Southern Paladin, and it does the same for white. I don't know where this card is being used, but let's try and find out. Drawmar the Banisher. Rubinia Soulslinger and Matilda, the Dawnheart Prime. All right, let's take a look at one of these commanders. Let's see. Dromar the Banisher. Is this the card that makes everything black when it enters? Yeah, when it deals combat damage to a player, you may play a blue and 2. If you do choose a color, return all creatures of that color to the owner's hand. This is a neat card. Dromar the Banisher. Choose a color, return all those things to owner's hand. You can, wow. I mean, if there was ever a card to, like, I guess lace something. Is there laces in here? Do they run lace? Blue Elemental Blast, Flash Flood, Hydroblast, Indestructible Auras, Charm, Disenchant. No. They're just blowing stuff up because it is a color. Yeah, I mean, back in Magic was started, like, colors and color hosers and, picking on a card from being being of a certain color or having perception of a certain color or destroying a certain color was just part of the color pie. They were set opposite each other, and the white cards picked on the black cards, the green cards picked on the black cards, and the blue cards, and the blue cards picked on the white, the red cards, and around it went. Gotta try to make the game interesting and balanced. Tetravus, there's a card Antiquities. I would say this card is definitely an old school card. Anything from Antiquities, I'd like to get one. It's been reprinted a few times. It's neat because it's 6 mana for a 1/1, and then when it enters, you get 3/1/1 counters on it. So that's cool. There's definitely ways to make this a little bit better in this day and age. You got like the constricting, winding constrictor, things that add counters. You've got the Ozlith that takes counters if something dies, and plenty of ways to put more on top of it. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may remove any one of these 1/1 counters from Tetravite. If you do create that many 1/1 Tetravite artifact creature tokens that have flying, can't be enchanted. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may exile any number of tokens and put that many 1/1 counters on Tetravis. So if you got a way of copying those tokens, you can move them back onto Tetravis, make him bigger. You can go wide or you can go tall. It's a cute little card, and it just reminds me of the Chronicles of Narnia. Like, I'd like to get this altered with like the big fluffy pink dog with the boy on the back riding it. Like, woo, Chronicles of Narnia. Why not? I would love to have one. All right, maybe we can make that happen. Price history on this card, going back. Wow, check it out. Not really seeing like a lot of price until 26 action until 2016. A little interest in the card, set collectors and whatnot. I don't know if there's anything specific making this card popular, but it's definitely poked up and it's shifting down in price. Not super playable. I don't know how sought after this card is for this. It is a rare. It's playable in the twin casters. Lots of copies available for about $30 for a beat up one, all the way from a really good copy. Island Sanctuary, a card that I like with Mystic Decree. It's fun in Commander. If you can play this for 1 white and 1, it's an enchantment card that says you may decline to draw a card. $84 for the unlimited version. Plenty of other versions to go around. Plenty of other versions of this card to go around. There's revised copies that look similar. Mark Pool art, if you like, just for art value alone, let's just have a little sip of coffee and enjoy this card. Hanson says some of the MTG market is broken and nonsensical. Yeah, tell me about it, right? It so is. I couldn't agree with you more. Uh this card says if you would draw a card during your draw step, instead you may skip that draw. So people played this with Howling Mountain. No, Howling Mine. Because it says draw a card. So you can draw a second card from Howling Mine, and that's just fine. So you play this with Howling Mine. Okay. If you do until your next turn, you can't be attacked except by creatures with flying or island walk. What? So only creatures with flying or island walk can attack you, and all it costs you is to decline to draw a single card. If you have a way of drawing more than one card, you can just go down to 1, and then you're fine. It goes with Howling Mine, that just right up. Merci beaucoup. It goes with Howling Mine, that just right up makes it better. And then if you combine this with a card like Moat, Moat, or if you just compare this to a card like Moat that says creatures with flying can't attack, and you you combine this with Moat, it's another card that makes Moat even better. So now creatures with flying can't attack, and anything without flying can't attack you. The other card that if you didn't have a Moat to go with it, you got to use this card from Homelands. It's cheap, like Borscht. It's $2.03. All creatures lose flying and island walk. Mr. DJ Longhair says he's attempting to negotiate with StreamYard. Heads on sticks, DJ. Take no prisoners, especially with the StreamYard. Mystic Decree goes good with Island Sanctuary. It's a cheap combo. They're only 2 mana each. It's a kind of a really simple mechanic to get going. Decks using the Island Sanctuary. Zur the Enchanter, of course, a pile of enchantment decks playing it. If you want to bling out your deck, you can get older ones. They go all the way back to Alpha. Most expensive copy you're going to find here is $50,000 for the alpha version. Wow. Or you can just get the revised copy or a newer one. That's pretty great. Hey Benson, do we got tunes? Somebody let me know if we got tunes. Any tunes? My mixer's not working today. Got no sound on the board. I'm hoping everything's working just right. Let me know if we got. Sounds like the cops are outside. So you know what time it is. It's Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. It's hump day. It's Brody. I'm glad you're here with me talking MTG stocks and some Magic talks. I gotta really say thanks to you folks for dragging me along with you, shining a little light on the subject and a little light to each other out in the world of Magic the Gathering. The Patreons and anybody on the Patreon, like Prime 406 and my man Earl, a drummer. Appreciate you guys for watching. Thanks a ton, a boatload, a bench, a bleacher, a bar stool, and a couple of Coca-Colas with a scoop of ice cream on top. It's awesome that you guys join me here on the channel each and every morning. We're talking some Magic the Gathering stocks and a few Magic talks, things that fly and things that phase and things that walk. What do bus drivers put on their morning pancakes and toast? Traffic jam. Have a great day, guys. MTG Gaming Bob, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you folks. Go make some food tokens. Or if you're at work, today's going to be your most productive, creative. Primes 406 is in the house. Thanks again for watching. We'll talk to you all again soon.
So high, that's my motto. I may just quit my job at the power plant and become a full-time stock market guy.